in the same way in your life, like you have to trust that like your friends show up because they love you, or your partner wants to show up because they care about you and they love you. Like performing has taught me so much about trust, and just to let yourself be watched is to trust that the people on the watching end want to watch you. And like coming to terms with that as a performer is really powerful.
Welcome to the Anyplace podcast. I'm your host, Robin Nisbet. This next episode accompanied a 3-part monthly performance series hosted by Jmy James Kidd at her studio All Purpose in Ojai, California. I asked Jmy to interview myself and Alexsa Durrans, who are the first artists to share our work in this series. We talk about gathering, body language, lineage, process, what dancers do, and transitions and transformation. This episode is called Unspoken Work.
We're in a kind of triangle circle, and dancers do this thing where we become equidistant from one another, and it's just like one of those unspoken dancer things. And then Robin is coming close,
Very close.
to break the unspoken rules of dance. But it's just so funny. It's kind of like, I don't know if that's across genres of dance. I don't know what you guys think about this, but like it's just, this happens kind of almost all the time. I don't know if it's like a Western dance model thing where we like get in some sort of configuration where we like really have this sense of like, oh, there's like, we have the same amount of distance between us.
Totally. It's constant like composing of the space, I think.
You take it for granted too, because when you're with like people who don't have maybe a dance training or like just haven't like spent time moving with people, like you'll just assume they'll like fall in place the same way, and then it ends up just being like a clump over here. And they're like, oh, okay, actually I have to speak it, and then finding the words for it.
Like people who've never taken a dance class before and you're doing lines.
Oh my God.
And it's like, and people are just like clustered right next to each other moving across.
It's interesting spatial awareness, because also it's like, okay, you're going to move your body, like your arms are going to come out. Like, so it's like, what's your largest space that you can take up? Like, we know these things.
And it's funny too, because like to us, I feel like this is like a safe arrangement in space, like this equidistant, because I'm like, I don't have to potentially touch somebody or like get in someone's space, but like other people would be like, okay, to stay in the group would be to be safe because you're like protected. And and this kind of proximity.
That's so true.
And then I also note, like, if I'm going to move between Robin and Alexsa in, exactly in the middle of you guys, but it's like, I know that there's some sort of spatial configuration that's set up that I am manipulating. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, I move through you guys again. Or then if it's like, oh, I move close to Alexsa, then it just becomes this whole new relational grouping. And now, because like we're in each other's ethers.
And I'm
orbits.
And then I'm feeling you from across the room. There's this like energetic line, pull.
Strong diagonal.
Strong diagonal.
Yes.
And now we have our martial fingers gathering energy, pulling it, undulating through the body.
I'm moving back into the equidistance. This is like the safe space. And because also you can all see, like, we're just like, oh, we can. And then we end up also just kind of doing mirror copy.
Like right now, Jmy and I are moving on our coronal plane, kind of in this weird And Alexsa, is doing it too now. Kind of clowny hands, like do 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 do.
It's really like stretching, or like it's like the hip is getting a lot of like lubrication here. It's letting me like.
Oh yeah, well then you added that.
Yeah.
This was I feel that now you talked about it, and I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, now there's a little contralateral movement happening.
Okay.
Because there's like the homolateral movement where you're like, now this is the homo. And then I would be like, oh, then the cross would be
contra.
Or I would say hetero. Hetero movement and homo movement. And then there's like some people that are way more homo movement.
Yeah.
You know, like that's a whole see. Oh
yeah, move with their body half, like their right arm and right leg.
Now we're all moving in towards each other. We move away from each other.
Instead of normal walking, like crossing our midline with the contralateral movement, we're doing body half. So our right arm and right leg is moving in front at the same time, and then we switch to the other side.
And we did some body touching just now. We all came together and our skin touched. And now we have a choreography.
Immediately, we've made a dance. We're folding into the circle.
2, touch.
And folding
1,
away from the circle.
2, boom.
Listeners, do you hear our feet sweeping?
Half. Oh, Teeny's ready.
Teeny's in the groove. Teeny's a natural born athlete.
Teeny time.
Robin, what are you practicing right now?
I'm practicing being out of control today and right now in my life with a lot of things that are happening and moving around, and trusting that this chaos actually has an order to it. There is a certain amount of doing and attention and intention, but there's also other forces that are moving, and I guess I'm just trusting that there is an order to this chaos. Letting go.
Yeah.
Like there's a greater order.
There's a greater order
that you are connected to and with.
Yes.
I was gonna iterate that, Robin, you are gesturing while you're speaking, and the gestures are very expressive. And when you were talking about trusting, you moved your hands out in front of you towards the center of your body. And then you asked for yourself to be able to trust, and you opened your palms up and to the ceiling, sky, heavens. I was trying to listen to your gestures more than your words. You know, there was like a complicitness in terms of like you checked in with Alexsa with your body and your gestures, and then you checked in with me with your body and your gestures. And I'm doing the same thing. As I'm doing it, I'm also gesturing as I'm speaking. And I'm also just going to say that we're in my studio that I call All Purpose, that is very all-purpose, and we're preparing for a showing today in a few hours, showing the work of Robin and Alexsa. And we are moving around. Again, we're in this equidistance triangle circle in our safe spot. And when Robin was talking about the bone structure, Robin went over to the skeletal system poster that I have up on the wall. I have this whole wall now of body maps that I feel like they're helpful for me. And also some, there's the work of Grant, and then there's work of Tara Jane, some pencil drawings that I feel like are also body maps, but the skeletal system, the respiratory system, anyway, and some BMC anatomical versions. I love seeing you guys in front of it and interacting with it, and I love being able to interact with these body maps that are very general.
It's kind of fun too, like when you're dancing, or when I was in the space yesterday, I was like, I kept seeing them, but like as I was like turning, or as I was upside down, and I was just like sort of like blurring of like these like body flesh words and tones. It's like quite textural in a way.
Yeah, totally.
We are speaking, but we're doing a lot of moving here that people are not going to be able to see, but maybe they can feel through our transmissions that we're sharing this movement time here. And as a person who weaves, not that well, but I weave, the textual really comes from textile and the language that came through making textiles. And that became, I don't know if it like led directly to words, but led directly to communication. And it still leads directly to communication. So we have these words, and right now we're gesturing. Stir.
Texture. Texture.
Texture, stir.
Texture,
stir.
These words have texture. This thing we're reaching for in space has texture. The air suddenly is kind of thick as I'm wrapping my fingers through this imagined viscosity, but imagination becomes real in our body. Alexsa, what are you practicing?
Right now I'm practicing presence as like this shutting down of the outside eye, or like what I'm perceiving myself as being perceived, and just going really in. And it's funny that you mentioned chaos, because I've been thinking a lot about chaos too. And I think that's a good thing. I think recently I've realized, like, maybe it's a dancer person thing too, but the stability and order in your body and in your day that I thought I really like had is now being like kind of cracked open by chaos. And I'm practicing letting myself have the ability to be chaotic, or like have that chaos actually move the river forward, rather than like be this like total diversion, if that makes sense. Like very literally and also very metaphorically.
Can you talk about the feeling of going inside? What is that feeling to you?
It's like pinching my body from the inside. Not even letting my mind ask the question, but letting my body say the thing first. On a surface level, it's like getting rid of like the parasocial like attempts to like be thinking about what else I'm connected to outside of my physical realm. And I think that helps me go in. And I'm still figuring out like what that always feels like.
Parasocial?
Parasocial.
Can you talk about that?
Parasocial in the sense like these perceived relationships, a lot of the times it's used in relationship to the internet and social media. I think also like we've always had parasocial relationships, like in our dreams and in our imaginations and in our like perceptions versus realities. And I think it's okay to like have them exist. But sort of parsing it out And just like as a practice, seeing what it feels like to focus more on like what my relationship is with just like the physical material space in the world. It's like an impossible task, which is why I'm letting the chaos come in.
Yeah. Impossible and yet so necessary. I feel like for survival.
Yes.
There's always going to be chaos.
Yeah.
I mean, what even is chaos? Like things that feel in an order that is undecipherable?
Right. I think that chaos, there's still an organization to it. It's just imperceivable, maybe to like my human mind sometimes, what kind of organization is happening. But I find that it comes in at a time where maybe something needs to reorganize inside of me. And if I can let go, surrender to that chaos, that reconfiguration can happen.
So, transformation and also transition, which I feel like are both things that happen in dance works. Like there is a thing that in performing or showing a work that everybody is going through a transition and everybody gets transformed. And we're in this state together.
Right, and I was just thinking about like these moments when, let's just say I'm driving from the west end of Ojai to downtown to work. There's all of these transitions that happen inside of leaving and arriving. And if I could perceive, or maybe it seems like, oh, this moment that isn't important, but like it's in these transitions where something can, like we can actually let something happen. I feel like they're valuable. They can be fruitful moments.
What do you think we could let happen?
I don't know. I feel like there's like possibility and magic that I notice when I'm not in my daily habitudes. Like if I'm traveling, let's just say, it's like walking from one place to another place. There's so much magic and possibility that can happen because I'm awake to it. And I'm not really as much awake when I'm in a habitual, like this is just what I do and I'm just thinking about the next thing. So I think that there's possibility for change and transformation all the time because it's like a crossing of, constantly crossing other paths with people and beings and forces.
That makes me think about what it is that we actually do. Like people will be like, what kind of dance do you do? I think even last night, were we talking about that? Or were we talking about that? And it's like, yeah, what is it that you do?
It's not line dancing. It's not ballet, even though some of us have ballet as one of the tools in the kit.
Yes, I was at Red Cat on Friday night and I saw Rashawn and Silas and they referred to their work as experimental dance. And they were talking about being in Texas recently and they had a really small audience and they had people walk out. A lot of people don't know what experimental dance is and maybe are uncomfortable with it. I always think it stems from an uncomfortability with just being inside of a body, inhabiting a body, like not going inside of what you're talking about, like the feeling, like going in the body, like the pinching on the inside, like that being not embraced and not journey, like not going on that journey. But that could be my own bias too. But I'm curious about today, what you guys are doing. And maybe you could say the title of your work and just talk about where you are in the process and what today might be about before we even do it.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's fun to be like, this is what it's about before I do it. And then after, you're like, oh, this is what it's about.
Yes. Oh, one of the questions I ask is to describe a landscape where you come from or describe a landscape that you feel connected to. So maybe we could even start off by describing the landscape of the piece.
The landscape of this piece is very much something that I have been consciously traveling through for the past couple years, and then really directly channeling, writing, image making about in the more recent months. The piece itself is very much about landscape. It's about like material, textures, sonic connections to this culture that feels very familiar to me, and then also feels like something that I sort of deviated from. I never know how literal to be. And I'm learning that in this piece too, actually, because it's very much a character and it's very much a narrative. And that's something I haven't done for myself in my own work. The title right now is The Preliminary Materials for the Theory of the Country Boy as a Young Girl. And I'm researching my own joys and connections to this very specific landscape that is like dirt roads and metal and leather and strength and the potential to be violent, but the choosing to not be violent as being something that is considered valor, and how that right now seems like it's being upheld, and it's like this desirable like culture, and then it's also this very scary culture that is converging with this like mainstream America right now. And there's so much to say about it, but that's what I've been thinking about. It feels like today, like this landscape is something that I'm finally materializing in front of people for the first time. And it's like one of those things where I kind of picture it like you're going into a scrap metal junkyard, and there's just gonna be a bunch of shit that I'm gonna put out there. And there's gonna be like a couple things that I need to take with me, and a lot of stuff that I think will stay or transform, or like I'll take with me, but like eventually it'll become a different part of the car or a different, scaffolding or something like that.
What do you think is going to happen with your body? Like, you take these materials and they might become part of something else. Mm-hmm. Like, what happens with your material body that you're in, potentially?
I mean, performing, it's so bizarre because you leave your like ephemeral trace there. And I always find that you feel the performance in your body the next day with like the bruises or like the different kind of like tensions, and you're like, oh yeah, I did this thing when I had a little more adrenaline, and now I'm like feel it in my shoulders because I decided to do a freaking handstand warp thing. And and I think that's really like part of what I do enjoy about bringing the performance with you in your body, because it's like you can only get there when there's eyes on you. And I think you said it once, Jmy, and I'm gonna misquote, but there's something so beautiful. Like, one of the coolest, best things about performance is just letting other people watch you. Yeah. And I try and remember that.
Yeah, and it can feel, I've grappled with that because I'm like, that's just so narcissistic, but it's actually such an offering to let people watch you. It's a really beautiful gift and a part of the disposition of a performer that we need to, and there's people who need to like have a desire to watch and see someone. There's an intimacy and a vulnerability, and that like it brings us into a connection to something that we wouldn't be able to access. Live performance is so special in this way.
It's like, in the same way in your life, like you have to trust that like your friends show up because they love you, or your partner wants to show up because they care about you and they love you. Like performing has taught me so much about trust, and just like to let yourself be watched is to trust that the people on the watching end want to watch you. And like coming to terms with that as a performer is really powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's so vulnerable to be a performer, really. I mean, there's a certain, there's all different types of performance, and there's like armor that you could put on to perform. And but I think going back specifically to what it is we might be doing here, and transformation, like you talked about, Alexsa, waking up the next day and you understand the performance based on the feeling, both visible and invisible, that your body has, that your body, it goes through a transformation inside of what we're doing. Like, I've never found any sort of suitable description for what we're doing. Like, I definitely think there's a sacred element to it and a spiritual element to it, but also like a very practical, material, and just like basic human desire to connect to one another and to share. Like, especially you guys are performing in an intimate space, so it's like people will be able to smell, not just the smell of the room, but also like the smell of the performers, you guys. Yeah. Like, there's gonna be a sense of smell. There's gonna be wind that you guys will create, not farts, but like, maybe, but like, you don't know.
And then the adrenaline of like, oh, this person's getting to, what's gonna happen? Are they gonna sit on my lap?
And sound, and So, and then and because it's we're doing it at 3 p.m. where you guys will be witnessing also the audience going through whatever they're going through, but the audience, they are also on display, but they don't realize that, I think, sometimes, or they do, or like they don't, maybe they realize if they don't address it, but like because we're in this performance space all the time, we know, somebody might be having a reaction, have like a terrible look on their face, but be having a really exciting experience for them, but it may look, a little bit different. But as dancer people, we do practice working with the way our senses appear, like the way we look, the way we sound, all of this stuff. Like, we are honing and toning our, materiality, our bodies, and our relations too, like how we relate to the space and everybody, in the space. Like, here we are now sitting on the ground. Again, we're equidistant, but I've also been noticing in our kind of unspoken choreography, when you were speaking, Alexsa, Robin and I were in the same position, and we were rocking back, like just doing this gentle rocking when you're talking about narrative and your process, and the amazing title that I can't remember.
Amazing title.
Title.
Wow. Titles are so important to me. I feel like so important, and that title is...
Will you say it again?
So I can't take credit for the title because it's a riff on the title of a book, like an essay type that like is very, in arts academia, everyone's like, nah. But it's called The Preliminary Materials for a Theory of the Country Boy as the Young Girl. And the book itself is The Preliminary Materials for the Theory of a Young Girl. And I won't get into the rest of it, but
It's so good.
Yeah, the title's fantastic.
The title.
And I also think it's interesting that you talk about not like taking credit for it, your title, because I think this is also a thing that we dancers do, is like we don't necessarily take credit. What even is that? Like claiming something? And I'm not really sure why, but it's interesting that that comes up for you, because it definitely comes up for me. Yeah, and like, oh, what is mine? It's coming from something, but like that's your title.
And it's such a dancer thing. Like artists, like visual artists, more material-based artists, like do that. Music artists do that all the time. Like they reference and then they're like, this is mine. It's this reference, but it's mine. Like, or like the material is referential, but it's theirs. Like that is a really interesting observation, Jmy.
I have that with my piece as well.
Oh yeah.
Because,
I also just want to, just before you talk about your piece, I just want to say, like, when I'm speaking, you guys are in the same configuration, kind of exactly. You guys are resting on your hands that are behind you, and you're sitting cross-legged and laughing. And I'm sitting on the ground, and I have my legs spread open in a kind of half-second split. And then when you were speaking, Alexsa, you were just doing this gentle rocking. There was something about like you speaking about narrative and whatever. And yeah, we were just doing. You were not rocking, and we were just doing this little rocking.
Yeah.
So it's really so funny how, like, I love noticing all these just, I don't know if it's freedoms that we have with our body. I don't know what, maybe that's a bad term. I mean, I feel like words just never suffice. You know, the dancer language, it's always kind of like trying to talk around the thing.
Yeah.
So if I say like freedom in the body, then I'm like, oh, that brings so many other things into it, political and like, you know, whatever. So it's like, what am I actually speaking to? But I think maybe it's something about, because we spend so much time in practice of moving our bodies and moving our bodies in relation to our own bodies, but also in relation to other bodies, that is just this part of our practice that we do. I mean, I guess it could be called body language.
It might just be a contender. You could throw that in the hat.
It's called mammary gland ischial tuberosity. Speak.
What would you like to speak about, Robin?
The landscape of my piece. The landscape of my piece. Stainless steel bowls with water in them. Objects that are seemingly meaningless but have meaning. 6-inch platform stripper shoes, the clear plastic ones that make us tall. Me especially, I would be like 6'8". I think I'm 6'8" in these shoes. Wigs, props. The landscape is a layering of hometown, hot, still summers, walking down to the corner of El Roblar and Lomita to get snow cones while playing Street Fighter. So the landscape is a layering of my childhood and then the two people that I'm working with, Joanne and Elizabeth, and they're 10 years younger than I am, so they grew up here too in Ojai, where we are now. So they have a slightly different experience, so there's that layering. And then there's this kind of pastiche of, I was definitely raised on like musicals and Bob Fosse. So I'm quoting Sweet Charity in this a lot. And I was like, but this isn't mine. I'm like taking from this thing. It's not mine, but we take things, we gather. It's like finding different objects in the forest, and we're like, oh, what do we do? What are we going to do with this beautiful piece of wood and this stone? And that's really, I think, all we can do as artists is gather, and from that gathering, like make a map of something. And the title of the piece is Filet Gumbo, and that comes from another thing. We're quoting two different media sources. So Sweet Charity, the musical the film version with Bob Fosse's choreography and a couple of the songs in there. And then also this television news show. It's called Ojai 84. It must have been in 84, which was like right before I moved here when I was 6 years old. And it has like the footage, everything just feels like such a throwback to my childhood. And it's so strange and foreign. And there's like this large gap. So it's kind of a layering of time experiences inside of it. And the Philly gumbo is because Mimi has brought Mardi Gras in 84, Mardi Gras to Ojai.
Short-lived.
Short-lived. Watch out, someone's going to get the idea and bring in another Mardi Gras, and that will be scary. Ojai Mardi Gras. It's also really playing on like some of the absurdities. And I had a little bit of apprehension about doing this because I am in a practice right now of being like with what I'm noticing without it affecting me in a way that I feel frustrated or upset by. Mm-hmm. But I feel like art can be a way that we can just express something and show the absurdity and then just leave it at the door. We don't even have to say what the thing is. It just can exist in this place.
So for the curation of the Holey Body series, Holey Body series, I'm doing 3 afternoons, Sundays, 3 p.m., so that people from LA or other places can maybe drive up. And also just, I can't really perform after 7. I get tired. I need to go to bed. And I really like afternoon shows. The 3 p.m. was also inspired by seeing Alexsa and Miles perform. I went to a matinee that they performed at, really incredible, at Human Resources in LA when I was conceiving of this series here in Miners Oaks in Ojai. And I was like, I'm gonna go to a matinee in Los Angeles, I'm gonna drive there. And matinees typically are kind of, it's for like kids and old people, let's say. I mean, I guess I'm older now, but I went to it and I was like, oh my God, all my friends are here. The matinee was where it was at. And so it was like, okay, 3 p.m. is the time. Like, it's great. So thank you, Alexsa. And the structure of the curation is that I have a local person. So that's clearly you, Robin. And then I have a person from out of town. So that's you, Alexsa, showing experimental dance in the afternoon. So we'll see how it goes today, but I'm excited about it. And that's the structure for the next 2 as well. And I wanted to throw out a couple of words, textual things to you guys and see how you might grapple with it. One is ownership, gathering, what is cultural, what might be cultural, what is the culture that we are inside of right now, what might be cultural appropriation, and how whiteness lives inside of this dance world, I'll call it the Western dance world, that I grew up inside of. I can't speak for you guys, but I know a little bit about, your background. But just throwing that all out there, and anything that comes to you with this melee of word objects, materials that might be related to your process and practice and what you're going to be showing or not.
There's a few, like, the words maybe, like, I won't try and hit all of them, but when you say gathering, like, I've really been thinking a lot about what it means to have an art practice right now, and just like a practice that with the body, and what's the fucking point of art in 2026 in America? Like, and I've come to my decision, or I've rested on this place, and I'm open for it to change too, but like, I don't know what the point is other than like, I need to make this practice lifelong. And because the point is, yes, like to do the show or to have someone like encounter this thing, but it's how I gather with people, and it's how we were talking about this, like to connect with people is to be in process with them and to have like a project or a thing. And so, yeah, it's about the show, but it's also about like gathering for like a few weeks before and rehearsal together and then having friends gather a little bit more. And so I think about it like that. And it's funny you bring up cultural appropriation and culture in like similar, like even though they have the same wording, and like the relationship to each other is interesting. And even when I was rehearsing last night or yesterday, I was like, I don't know, this little thing came through my head where I was like, I mean, this whole piece itself, it's like, I am not a country boy, but I grew up with many, and I kind of relate to, you know, so like there's this thing of like, what is appropriative, and then there's some other like motifs or images in this piece that, what does it look like, or like could this look like this other thing that I don't want it to look like, blah, blah, blah. But I think the whole point of doing it is to understanding it, and like, yes, there is a lot of damage that can occur in the appropriation of culture. But if there's like an exploration of like your relationship to that culture and understanding that like you are an agent in it, I think it's important to explore. Because like culture is like, you know, us in this room right now with Teeny, and you know, culture is also like all of us, all the people we've ever connected to. And I think it's a shame that sometimes the fear of cultural appropriation becomes censorship, and who's censoring, and how that maybe stifles.
I really appreciate you saying that, because it makes me think about my own exploration around whiteness. One thing that feels like there's a rhetoric around what is whiteness as far as like living in a structure of like white supremacy and colonialism, where there's this expectation, or I think it could easily transfer into like capitalism as well, of there's this kind of perfectionism that can show up. And so as a person involved in a lot of practices and traditions that don't come from my European lineage, so I have been in this relationship with it as like, sometimes I know like the way to act like a good white person, like, you know, you don't say this, or you don't ask like these questions, or you don't put this, like there's all of these things where I feel like I'm putting this expectation on myself instead of explore the ways in which the different cultures that I've grown up in have influenced me. I need to be honest about it and maybe like push into the place a little bit and try this thing on. And I think that's why as dancers, performers, we do this thing, this mimesis, like we're doing it right now. That's how I learn when I go to another country. I'm imitating what people are doing. That's how I communicate with them, like gestures, shapes, sounds. Even if I don't speak the language, I might have there's another language that's happening that I'm tapping into. And that's like a way of me starting to take in that culture into my body.
I think if I'm really interested in the reparative work as a white person, as a woman, and as someone who also didn't grow up in America but grew up in Canada, which is like its own little thing, but like if I'm really interested in that, like yes, it can show up in like how I practice as a dancer, but like more importantly, it should show up in like my life every day. I used to do this practice when I was working with some younger dancers on my thesis show, and we had this practice called talking and tracing and talking, or tracing and talking and tracing, whatever. It was like a tracing practice, and it was just like you know, we would rehearse in these different spaces that weren't studios. And the first thing we would do is just like reorient and be like, okay, like where, you know, usually you walk in, you put your bag by the speaker, or you like put your water bottle near the table, or you know how the studio feels. And then when we were in like a parking lot or a thing, we'd be like, wait, okay, where do we put our water bottle? Like, where do we gather when we're not dancing? And like realizing that like the choices we make are like creating traces and spaces, and that practice of understanding that as dancers, I think is very important in our outside worlds of like, we understand that the way our bodies exist in space and shape culture and shape other people, and the way space is shaping us, like we can defy it, and like it's not protest necessarily, and it's not like saving lives, but understanding that we aren't just like bound to the sidewalk, or like understanding that we're not, that we are choosing to be bound to the sidewalk, I think is really revelatory as a practice.
One way that I might understand what you're saying is that we can't deny the layering of culture and influence that's in our life. So like I was raised in a very like Western dance environment, milieu of like, you know, the jazz, modern, ballet thing, which I wasn't really good at. Like none of that felt good in my body. So that's kind of part of this. I think part of the piece that I'm doing is looking at the different ways that I've been influenced. There's a sexualization of the female body, like in these movies that I watched growing up, and this Bob Fosse choreography, which then is like considered jazz, but like then we talk about jazz dance, which it's like, well, where did jazz actually come from? It's like such a departure from jazz origins, and is kind of like an erasure of the thing that is so potent. I mean, Black culture has made up so much of the American culture. And it's what I feel like every time I travel somewhere, someone's like, oh, you're from America. And they start naming off all of these artists and musicians who are Black, because that's like so much of American pop culture. And in terms of ownership, the dominant culture wants to like take that and be like, yeah, but we own it. And so there's kind of this thing that I've grappled with inside of my own process around that. And yet, like, these things are undeniable. Like, I have this Bob Fosse influence, and then I also have these other influences. And because I've danced in different places and I've studied from, you know, a little bit of West African dance or Afro-Brazilian, like, these are all things that are in my body too, and I can't deny what is in my body.
What happens when you do deny what's in your body?
It feels dishonest, and it doesn't feel like it's actually doing like the exploratory work. But I think also it's interesting to think about this idea of ownership. I think that as far as like wanting to have creative autonomy, or be like, okay, this is a piece that I'm making. The piece that I made, I had a very clear vision of what I wanted to do, but I definitely asked the two people who are in the piece to contribute. I really like working that way of like, okay, I've got a structure, but I want this to be illuminated by the people who are bringing their skill, their self, their person, their creativity to it. Like, I do want credit for like, this is the vision that I had. And also it's not really mine anymore. It becomes its own entity. I don't own it. So.
Well, I'm just gonna posit that another cool thing about just dance practice and growing up dancing, in my own experience and also just listening to you guys, that we do get to practice a kind of communal ownership. And we don't necessarily get to talk about it in the way of it being shared ownership, but maybe that's also kind of why we have a difficult time saying that we own something, because we're also living inside of a culture of capitalism, which is all about a singular owner. So we practice so much unspoken work. And so talking about it is interesting because the thing is really the unspokenness of it. So when you talk about it, it's almost like sacrilegious to be like, oh.
Well, there's like this thing where you like, maybe it's about trust again, but it's just like, okay, I'm trusting that these words are not going to be received as the thing, but like as the metaphor of the thing that's going to like, like maybe if the words and the thing, there's actually a gap between them, they're more, I don't know if potency or usefulness is the goal, but like there's something there. And I think with anything, like allowing that gap to exist rather than squandering it.
And what's interesting about this question of how do we talk about the work that we do or the dance that we do, I find myself oftentimes wanting to name the lineage and who I'm influenced by feels like the best way I can describe what I do. And because I practice a spiritual practice where ancestors are really important, lineage, eldership is really important, the first time I ever heard this term was from you, Jmy, was dancestors. Who are your dancestors? So I was wondering if we could name our dancestors, and they don't all have to be humans.
Oh, wow. I'm just going to also say that I did not make this term up. I don't know where it comes from. Multiple people have put it out there. The ancestor lineage.
Dana Iova Koga, really huge influence, as well as her husband Shinichi Iova Koga, but Dana really, her work, her attention to her research, her relationship with the environment and movement practices, and then also Frida Kiparbe, who they work together. Elsa Wollaston, who recently became an ancestor, bless her, she helped me to really bring the connectivity in through the ground, through my feet, up into my pelvis, into my spine. I was locked up in my chest, and I could, after doing this work with her, I could really feel that connectivity. Mestre Amen, Rachel Hernandez, Vera Pasos, Yamarain de Sabar, Willie Sully. My spiritual teachers, when I went to Nigeria, and the Babalaos and Yanifas and Iya Lorisha and Baba Lorisha, their dance, their rhythm, their heart, the culture of the rhythm in the odus and the verses, the river here, Ventura River Preserve. So many people, my parents. My mom grew up in Berkeley, and she took classes with Cunningham, and, my dad immigrating from Scotland and that migration movement. And now I pass the torch to you, Alexsa.
Yeah, it feels like too many to name, but I'm like, my dance sister is like the girl I saw on TikTok 3 years ago. No, but I don't know. It's like on a more linear note, it's probably the women in my family who they were all actually Ukrainian dancers. I never practiced with them, but their spirit or their energy and life force that I think I received. There's something about those women that, yeah, dancestors. In terms of just Los Angeles and the escape in Southern California, of how I've been able to relate to myself and the dances I've made, I don't think it would look very different if I hadn't encountered you.
I love that you said that, because that's an acknowledgement that I feel is super important. Jmy James has created a space in LA that really housed the experimental dance orphans. And space is so important for us to come together, to share, to have a place where we belong, and to be influenced by one another. So you have created a culture and continue to do that, because for me it happened again. I moved back to Ojai. I was really depressed and just watching Netflix and drinking IPA and eating Mexican food every night. It was very, very little existence coming back here. And then I get this text from Jmy, like, hey, I saw you're teaching at this yoga studio. Come dance with us. We've made this little dance group. And yeah, I cannot even express how belonging is so important, especially, I think, as artists. It's definitely not the linear way to take in a capitalistic society that's going to be necessarily easy. And so to have a place of belonging is really important.
Thank you for saying this. It's nice to hear this. And also, just even before you guys brought this up, I was like, oh, Robin and Alexsa, you guys are my dance fam. Like, there's dance sisters in terms of influence, and then there's like the dance fam that is also you guys are influencers to me as well. But yeah, there's this sense of belonging and family that is so crucial and important. And I think, like you spoke, Alexsa, about we're not saving people's lives or something like that. But there is that kind of cliched statement of art saves lives, and I think it actually does. And I think that the way that it can do it, especially with dance, is through belonging. The sense of belonging that we can get through process and practice is so important, to be able to, just roll around and bump into each other and mirror each other in movement and get sweaty, and also just bring in our lives as well and share our lives, and then have this practice. It has always felt very communal to me, and that is so exciting. And the Any Place podcast is also very much about this search for a sense of belonging, or what that might mean, how we belonging in the world. Recently, I've been reading these books by this writer, Emily Hahn, who's very wild. And in her obituary, somebody described her as the person that was very at home in the world. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. And then, reading her works, which are very wild. She wrote like 50 books and did all of this traveling and had a very wild life. And part of her life was, she was a writer. That was a way that she connected with people, not the only way, but being expressive, coming together, gathering, grappling with ethics, and grappling with other humans. Like, that's something that we really do a lot, which is so important. And I haven't seen your work yet. I'll see it soon, Alexsa. But I've watched 2 runs of your piece, Robin, Filet Gumbo, and the very ending of the piece, like, there's this absurdity that it, you're like, what is going to happen? What is happening? Oh my God. It's like, wow, so wild. And it does feel like working with what is inside of your body and your lineages and your place, this location. And then, all this stuff happens. All this stuff. And then there's this ending that isn't there something more than this?
There's got to be something better than this. This is from Sweet Charity.
Yeah. And that always really just like hits me so hard. Like, I feel like it's not necessarily a knife in the heart. I don't know what the feeling. It's like, oh, there is this longing for humans. We're like, isn't there something better? Like, what else is there? Is this it? What is this? What is this life? And it's like a cry and a desperation and a sweetness and a acknowledging of, all the like difficulties and struggles of being human. To be a human is to be able to swim around inside of so many feelings, and not just like feelings of sensation and feelings of emotions and connections and relations. Like, yeah, there's a swimming sense about being human that brings up in me. Or maybe it's also just not knowing.
Yeah, the piece is kind of, it's very like, just like get in the water. Like you're gonna swim. It's gonna be okay. Just get in. Like, like you know how to do it. Just go. Yeah. River's gonna go, whoop, whoop, but you're gonna go. It's so cool.
Last question. Is there a prayer for today that you would like to share? Or can you share a prayer, please? I have one, actually. I was like, I'm going to let you guys do it, but I'm going to. The prayer is actually an ask. Is a prayer always an ask? I don't know. But the prayer is for words to be used in prayer, as prayer, a prayer.
All of it.
Words can be used as so many things. Can my words be... Can I always speak in prayer? It's endless.
That's my prayer. Actually, one of my prayers is that, okay, I'm doing this as I'm crawling along the floor like a panther, which somehow invokes in me this precision and attention. And there's something about a panther that kind of walks very slowly and deliberately and does not use their energy until it's time to use the energy. And I say a lot of bullshit. Stuff comes out of my mouth. My prayer is that more and more my words, I can have more attention, give more attention to them, and have them carry more potency in the direction that I desire.
I'm just going to say in relation to your big cat, Robin, I'm a vine in a place that's unenclosed. It's vast.
I'm a big cat coming up to the vine and sniffing it.
My prayer is that today I hope we can see watching and witnessing and being seen as a kind of prayer we do together. And I feel like one of the mermaid statues in your yard, Jmy. The way I'm standing right now.
You look like a mermaid statue.
There's Priscilla, and there's Marilyn. Those are really named up.
I'm Marilyn.
You're Marilyn, yeah.
We have a vine, a Marilyn, and a panther.
And then we have the dog.
And we have a teeny.
And we have the Peter floor.
Oh, yeah.
Now that's a prayer.
Yeah, it's so nice. I was thinking, Alexsa, about how you've mopped this floor.
Oh.
It's where you can
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really so nice. Yeah, I'm so happy that it ended up here. It went on quite a journey. And there's pieces all over.
No kidding.
Yeah.
It's such a prayer and a ritual with all of the ways that it moved. I mean, I felt like it was a special ritual in retrieving it from the desert.
Oh my God. That was amazing. Yeah. Thanks, Robin. Thanks for facilitating. And that was really fun. It was fun to move around too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for being my dance fam, guys.
Thank you.
Honor.
It's a big honor. Thank you so much, Alexsa.
Yeah, thank you.
Really
So great.
beautiful,
Really
thoughtful sharing.
Thank you for making it feel like safe and also just like human to do. It's like just chatting and hanging out. It's the best.
Thank you for listening today. To find out more about the work of Jmy James Kidd, visit her website, www.tjojmy.com, or Instagram @JamesKidd_studio. For more information about the work of Alexsa Durrans, follow her Instagram @Alexsa Durrans. You can follow the podcast on Insta @AnyPlacePodcast and visit the website anyplacepodcast.com. This episode was recorded on the traditional homelands of the Chumash people.